Today we're in conversation with Professor Aileen Bolles, professor in the Department of Women's Studies at the University of Maryland College Park and editor of Representing Blackness, the Marcus Mosiah Garvey Multimedia Museum. So I just want to share with you that the legacy of Marcus Garvey, in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Press and the family of the late Dr. Donna E. McFarlane, OD, hosted the launch of Representing Blackness, the Marcus Garvey Mosiah Multimedia Museum at the Liberty Hall's Garvey Great Hall. The book, authored by Dr. Donna E. McFarlane and edited by Professor Aileen Bolles, provides the ideological framework of the value of the museums and their programs. Professor Bowles joins us to share about the launch and the book, the launch and book. Professor, good morning.
Good morning.
I shy away from pronouncing your surname one more time in case I was getting it
Bowles.
incorrect. It's Bowles. Thank you so much for that.
Plain old Bowles, yes.
Sorry, Daniela is my co-host this morning. She is greeting you. Say again, Daniela.
Good morning, Professor Bowles. I hope it's been a good morning. Yes. Welcome to the Bridge 99
good morning.
FM.
All right. So it is a conversation that we've been having here. The importance of the teachings, the lessons, and the acknowledgement of the role Marcus Mosiah Garvey played in our development. Professor Bowles, this is another aspect of looking at Garvey's legacy. Could you share with us the importance of such a move?
Well, thank you for inviting me to tell you and share with you about the wonderful event of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Great Hall, there in Liberty Hall,
Mm-hmm.
which was the building that Marcus Garvey constructed in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the importance of not only of the museum and the event of yesterday was just to remember the significance of Garvey at that time.
Mm-hmm.
There's been such denigration or invisibility of Garvey, regardless of whether he's on a piece of currency, his face is on a piece of currency.
Mm-hmm.
But the importance of his work and his philosophy is what pushed Dr. Donna McFarlane to do this kind of work. She was so influenced by the lift up the mighty race, and she basically dedicated her life to not only making Garvey's philosophy an important part of every Jamaican and every member of the diaspora's life. So that's what this is about.
Okay, Dr. Bowles. So what were some of the key takeaways or memorable moments from the event? How do you anticipate that these discussions influencing the broader discourse on the issues addressed in the book? And like you say, Garvey's influence.
Well, one of the things that we hope is that every library in every school in Jamaica has a copy of this book.
Mm-hmm.
It is readable, meaning it's not heavy duty reading and write. It's not
Very
something
academic.
that
Okay.
anyone off the street with a decent education and understanding, and even if you don't have those facilities, that in fact you can get a dictionary and find some things out. But there's important parts of the culture, such as the crossroads. What does that mean? And what Dr. McFarlane was trying to say is that we collectively are at the crossroads of not only moving past colonialism, but what decolonization, what it means in terms of moving forward, Sankofa.
Mm-hmm.
That's what uh, that's what the the goal
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
of moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So this book is just a part of the push forward, and that's what yesterday was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so you've addressed certain things, the importance, the ideology of this book, and understanding ourselves as as a people, what we've been through, where we are, and the next steps to make. In your opinion, how can museums play a crucial role in shaping and preserving legacies of influential figures like Marcus Garvey? What impact do you hope this book will have on fostering that understanding?
Well, one of the things that I hope is that um, people, students, children, grown-ups,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
will understand that this museum is open to all.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. Um, it's not. It's not something that, oh, I don't know about that and I'm not going there. But also what it is, that the doors are open
Mm-hmm.
for all to see and be educated by and influenced by, because it is an interactive museum.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
The multi media aspect of it is just extraordinary,
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary, and people have to recognize it. It's we busy doing all kinds of things in modeling after what's coming out of the US and Canada
Mm-hmm.
and Europe, and we should model what is in our own neighborhood, or our collective
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood. We have to qualify that. But that in fact the gates are open and the staff is absolutely waiting to help, to facilitate any kind of questions, um, and there's programming for children, and particularly following Garvey's philosophy,
Uh-huh.
is that it really caters to the local neighborhood.
Yes.
You know, whether we call it the ghetto or whatever we want to call it, those who are underserved are really the important factor in Liberty Hall and this museum.
As we're having this conversation, and I'm really, taking it all in, I realize that there is the fundamental point of all of this is to raise the consciousness of a people. We're here in Jamaica and we've taken a lot for granted. Yes, you alluded to it earlier. Yes, we've recognized him by, preserving his image on a paper note, on a piece of currency. And we've gone a step further of launching this museum, this multimedia museum that can give you an insight, an interactive insight into the life and teachings of the great man. And that book that has Dr. McFarlane dedicated her life to sharing with a nation. But all of this, do you get a sense that as a nation, we have done enough to stir the interest of our young people, of our academics, and just a nation on a whole as to black consciousness and the teachings of Garvey?
I would, well, let me qualify.
Mm-hmm.
I I I personally believe
Mm-hmm.
that not enough,
Mm-hmm.
fairly visible of how important Garvey is
Mm-hmm.
to our philosophy and way of life.
Mm-hmm.
That it is not significant in a grade school curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Is getting there. I mean, that was one of the goals.
Mm-hmm.
Programming and community development. I mean, this is part of it, and the government is not. It's not pushing it. I mean, true, they would say that we have other things to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
and but what is important is how people should understand that we have to push forward and we have to see what we have in our hands, not seeing what we don't have in our hands. And
Mm-hmm.
that's
For sure.
one of the major issues.
Amazing.
What do you have in your hands?
Right now, we're
What
hoping.
what are the what can we do within in our hands?
Yes.
The answer is in our hands. Um, and to recognize that. And your hands are about your own identification as a people,
Yes.
your own identification as in your own mindset of what you emulate, and that's the important factor, that not only the museum, which is a visualization of those hands at work,
Uh-huh.
but also how incredibly instructive and creative this museum lets you see your hands and the ability of your own identity
Mm-hmm.
to move forward.
Amazing. Now, Professor Bowles, they've said, and as I think of it and I look at the fact that I was about to ask you how people can purchase the book,
How can they get it in
I,
their
I,
hands?
how can they? But there's another thought that occurred to me, that you've gone a step further, because too often I am tired of hearing the old adage that if you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. Well, guess what? I am proud that you've not only put it in a book and it's not there to be hidden, it is easily understood, but you've actually launched a museum. For those who don't like reading, there is the museum for more knowledge. But for those of us who are doing away with that old statement of hiding things in a book and now taking up books, how do we purchase the book?
The University of West Indies Press has their offices are on campus. There are copies available in Liberty Hall, right there at the museum. And I believe in the goal was to put this book into every school in Jamaica. So students of all ages can, in fact, go look at the book,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "Oh, that's just downtown."
Yes.
Or can we go on a trip to this place?
Mm-hmm.
Or can we just walk around to this place?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the goal of access to the book, and then also just go to the museum on foot,
Mm-hmm.
That is also an
and
option.
to see these objects
Mm-hmm.
that are interactive for those who view it,
Mm-hmm.
um, view those objects, and that also, going back to the book, it is readable.
Mm-hmm.
It is not jargon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's so people can say, "Oh yeah, okay, I remember this. Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this makes sense to me."
Yes.
And that was also one of my goals as the editor.
Awesome. Awesome. Professor Bowles, we want to thank you for the work that you put in, for the awareness that you continue to advocate for, and to help us to understand the amazing legacy and teachings of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Thank you so much for taking also the time to chat with us this morning. Want to wish you and yours a blessed and safe season, and we look forward to more conversations like this in the coming years.
Great. Thanks so much for the invitation.
You're welcome.
Take care.
That was Professor Augusta Lynn Bowles, professor in the Department of Women's Studies at the University of Maryland College Park and editor of Representing Blackness, the Marcus Mosiah Garvey Multimedia Museum. You heard it, Bridge Nation. Go check out the museum, Liberty Hall, downtown Kingston. Yeah, very close. Now that we're in a holiday season, this is a good family activity.
I wonder if
that
they're open
think-
over the season.
Well, we can check that out, but I feel like they could be, or they should be, because this is an opportunity to have families come in and learn about the legacy of Marcus Garvey. And if you are interested in purchasing the book, you can also do that at the University of the West Indies. I, for one, I'm going to get a copy of this book. You think you're going to get a copy?
First of all, I think I'll go to Liberty Hall. That's the first thing I'll do.
Yes, definitely. Liberty Hall is very, very inspiring.
And then we'll see about the book as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, for the visual learners.
Because, so we don't read, right?
Well, I don't know about that. You don't read books, but you read.
I read.
Yes.
I barely read the scripts you prepare. But anyway.